services, but yet we would be responsible for paying for the move to the Munich, correct?
Well, as of
If we
right now,
don't want to spend any money and the library doesn't have the opportunity to expand into space, would it not be more logical to just keep City Hall here?
As of right now, Heather, we don't have any money for anything.
So it's not a done deal that the City
Right.
Hall is moving to the Munich, that's just a conception.
If City Hall did move, we'd have to come up with the money from somewhere, because that was all coming out of the same funding source. Correct? Correct, exactly.
Unless you tell us to authorize the money from an existing fund, that we'd have to go shake the money tree and see what falls out of it, and see what's available in a fund. And you'd have to make a decision to delay purchasing equipment or something else and redirect those funds. It's the only other way of doing it.
But that would take care of that. It wouldn't take care of everything here. Go ahead.
But as it was stated earlier that we have all of these improvements that was shown earlier, like Vern had said, would that be the wisest decision for us to do? Would be to borrow from one to move something else that may not necessarily be needed at this exact time? And what if you borrow from one fund and something major happens and then we have no money to fix that? Then where does, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is we just have to use the wisest sets of dollars possible all the way around, not just for the library, not just for City Hall. We have to think of everything. I'm definitely proactive and I want to see positive things happen for our community, but I don't want to rob Peter to pay Paul. I mean, that's not really answering anything. That's not solving anything.
And that sort of is the place I think that we're in, Heather, right now is if we go ahead and borrow this money, we're going to end up paying interest on it, whatever amount that it is, whatever amount that we would use from that grand total fund. But so all we're doing is deferring the payment. We're deferring the pain, and it's a never-ending cycle, and we've already spent ourselves down into a pretty, not a hole yet, but we can see the hole from here, you know.
But we can see the other direction from here too.
Well, 1 foot is in, yeah, and when 1 foot is in the hole, it's hard to jump.
But I will say this to the council: if we do this project, we borrow this money, we know exactly what we're going to get when we're done. As opposed to buying Handley property. What's going to go there? I don't know. We spend this, we get it done, and we know exactly what we get. And you can't say different than that.
That's part of the problem. We got that Handley property, and it's going to come loose here in a couple of months. We don't know. We have no idea what's going to happen.
It's going to come loose.
Well, it's going to come free. Let's put it that way. You know how it's tied up now.
I don't know what that means.
Well, we're going to be looking at more costs, I'm sure.
Well, I made my recommendation several months ago. Would you like to speak, Steve? That's fine.
Well, I don't know that I know the protocol here for speaking.
I'm being very lenient.
I would like to just ask the question that if City Hall moved to the Munich and this space was vacant, why do the walls have to be gutted? Why does the ceiling have to be torn down? Why can't this space be used with bookshelves with a very small amount of money input and expand the space of the library? I don't understand why that can't be done. Why do we have to go to a total remodel situation? Has that all been addressed and talked about before?
Yeah, the load-bearing columns in the floor.
How is it good up there and not here?
Different building.
That was actually designed
That was a library, that was the original.
right. That was built to be a library. This was added on to just a museum, right? Then they moved City Hall in here.
And it's accessibility standards too. Once you start remodeling, you you have to make it be handicap accessible all the
Well,
way.
that, what I'm asking is that a remodel, putting in some bookshelves? Put some computer stations in here, free up some space over there? I mean, it doesn't seem like it would take that much money or work to make a lot more use of available floor space.
Thank you, appreciate that. Let's use common sense. With the city where we're sitting on the expenses, it's just ridiculous. I make a motion that we table the USDA grant.
Table or reject?
Reject it. Table or reject it.
You got that?
Indefinite.
The USDA, please hang on for a second. The USDA grant is gone.
We're talking about reapplying.
Applying for a loan.
Are you referring to option 3, Roger? On the
What?
staff report?
Where is it?
It's in our packet on the front.
Agenda statement.
Reject the USDA funding and determine new course for action for both projects.
Or are you referring to something different?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we reject the USDA funding and determine a new course. Funding. If at all possible.
That's a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Tolbenson, second by Mr. Dahl, to reject USDA funding and determine new course of action for both projects.
Thought we had a course.
I thought we had a course. We made a motion for new funding a couple meetings ago. Kathy or Steve, refresh my memory, we made a motion a couple meetings ago.
I was under the impression it was $500,000.
So was I.
Mr. Mayor,
Please.
May 29th, there was a motion for applying to USDA for, I believe, $600,000,
600 for here and 200.
200 for there. And that motion passed. May 29th.
Wasn't that motion made by you? And it was seconded by me. So, isn't that what we're doing? Not.
I'm making a motion to reject it.
Well, I don't think we can do that, can we?
I don't think you can.
I think this one supersedes that.
Any motion can supersede
No,
another.
it doesn't.
So that motion was predicated on the original grant, I believe, or the original loan,
Which is rejected.
which we had to reject.
So we're starting fresh.
But even under the fresh premise, my understanding was the council was authorizing $500,000. And that then generated the discussion of how much does one level cost?
Right.
And then, by the way, what do we get? 2 levels.
Right.
That's why you have what you have in front of you.
Exactly.
So we can make
Based
an
on that.
informed decision.
But there was no
Looking at
motion
pictures.
about the 500. There was no motion, that was.
think
But
that's
based
what-
on that recommendation, that's where the library board came with these 2 drawings
I
too.
think that was a recommendation also for use of the FEMA funds.
That's,
That was for any
that
additional,
one. FEMA can, on the community center, potential FEMA fund,
Those funds that were left over,
that
They're
was,
not left
that
over.
was,
or
Yeah.
not left over, just
Right, reapply.
unused up there.
that would have to be for brand new construction. Yeah, it won't get used, you'll never qualify for remodeling.